Sa'di, a native of Shiraz, traveled as a young man to Baghdad, Iraq, to study Arabic literature and Islamic sciences. He was born in 1195. Although Sa'di traveled to many countries like Egypt, Syria, and Anatolia, he always considered Shiraz his home and eventually returned there before he passed away. Many Persians come and visit his gravesite and say prayers for him by touching his gravestone and then reciting verses from the Quran. His tomb has been decorated with many of his own poems. Sa'di's works have been translated by a number of major Western poets and have been studied in many universities. His main interests included poetry, Sufism, metaphysics, logic, and ethics. Next to the tomb, we found an underground cafe that served tea and traditional Persian ice cream. Passing beneath the cafe was a small stream of water that had a few fishes swimming in it. This water came from the mountains north of Shiraz, and it passed under the tomb. The stream not only passes under the tomb and the cafe, but it also leads outside. Similar to Sa'di, Hafiz was a very famous Persian poet that was born in 1310. The name Hafiz was given to him because he had memorized the Quran. And because of that fact, many viewed his poetry as sacred. Many visit his gravesite and say prayers for him, in a similar fashion as described before. Because his poetry has been looked upon as being sacred, many young and old people seek advice from old dervishes as seen in this picture. A dervish would read a part of a poem and then translate it to someone and accordingly give them advice. Besides the old historic parts, Shiraz is also a very modern city. Bagh-e-Eram, or Garden of Paradise, was a palace that housed the governor of Shiraz, and it was passed down from governor to governor in the Qajar period, and eventually, after the Islamic Revolution, it became the property of the University of Shiraz, and it is used to study many different plants, as it is a botanical garden. Many of the plants in the garden are exotic and are brought from faraway places like California and Japan. Of course, this garden is open to the public. Karim Khan's citadel, or Arga Karim Khan, was built in 1750, and it was used as a defense post, as Karim Khan himself resided inside it. After Karim Khan, it was used as a prison, and then eventually, during the time of the Shah, it was turned into a historical site. The columns of Chehel Sutun, or 40 columns, were taken from this site and then put in place in Isfahan. At the time of Karim Khan, this section was dedicated to the sunbathing of women, and therefore it had only one window. This used to be Karim Khan's personal bath. There were 3 pools of water. The middle one had hot water, and the 2 on the side had cold water. Karim Khan established the Zand dynasty. Karim Khan refused to call himself king, as he liked to call himself the servant of the people, or Vakilul Roya. My father is a direct descendant of the Zand dynasty. See the similarities? There were also very old photographs in this palace. This man was known as the Hercules of Shiraz. Here you see an armed thief being captured by the local police, and a murderer being executed by a cannon. Don't worry, even back then people thought that was a little bit too much. This little guy was actually a king, and this was an all-girl elementary school. Shiraz also had a very interesting religious community. However, we were not allowed to take the camera in some of these places, like Shahcheragh. 200-300 years ago, this used to be a public bath and shower, but now it's converted into a restaurant.